Hey everybody, Jeffrey Powers here with Geekazine over at www.geekazine.com. Over on the YouTube channel over at, well, if you go to geekazine.com/YouTube, that'll get you there. It's not under Geekazine. Got to work that all out. But anyway, the bottom line is here is you can get it here for a lot of great video, and we're going to do a lot more video just for the YouTube channel to raise awareness of the YouTube side of things. Now, I've been talking to a lot of people, and I go back and forth, and people ask me a lot of questions. I get a lot of email over on geekazine.com. I get, in Twitter, I get asked questions. Even in Facebook and Google Plus, I get asked questions. So that's what I'm going to do here is I'm going to try and answer some questions, show you how to move around here. A couple weeks ago, we did that Lion OS 10 walkthrough showing all the trackpad stuff, which was pretty cool. And thanks to all the response on that. But we're going to talk about Google Plus and more to the point, Google Circles. A lot of you have been asking, well, what's this Google Circle about? Is it really the most state-of-the-art thing? The one thing that makes my business run, that makes my relationships work a little bit better? Well, my simple answer to that is not yet. And not yet as in Google's still in beta. Google is still in its transformation form. I don't know if that's a word or not. But anyway, the whole point is they're getting ready. They're transitioning. They're trying to figure out what's right, what's wrong, put it to the next level. So anything can change. Case in point. Last night, one of the programmers, somebody that makes a whole bunch of extensions for Google+, he's a third-party programmer, and he created some really cool extensions, some sharing extensions, and a Hangout waiting feature and stuff like that. Well, last night, all of a sudden, Google changed the DOM, or basically what's called the document object model, and they changed the whole thing for him, and he had to go in and rewrite some of the code. He got it up and running again, and it's working perfectly, but that's what could happen within this whole getting to know, growing up, infancy, whatever you want to call it. And that's why it's not really yet for prime time yet, but you want to at least keep an eye on it and maybe earmark your position in Google Plus, because it is a really fun little social network to be on. But the big thing is about these Google Circles. And you're asking, well, how? People left and right, I'm hearing all these things where you can pay $20 to get on this or that or find out this, but what's the real answer? And I'm going to give it to you in the best term possible. And what I'm going to be branding as pretty much this. KISS. It's a play on the old KISS, keep it simple, stupid, except I'm saying circle it simple, silly. It's really straightforward. All you have to do is figure out your circles so it's not too complex, so it's easy for you to understand. Circles, the one thing I've been telling people, think of circles like a filing cabinet. All you're doing is filing people into different circles or into different cabinets, folders, whatever. It's just called a circle now. So let's go over to the Google Plus side and see what's going on here. All right, so here's my Google Plus page. As you can see, very, very straightforward. I've got some posts on here. I just did a post on the fact that Clout messed up, didn't show my Clout score. A whole bunch of other stuff. There's a really cool video about a MacBook Air, and you can check that out as you go. But that's basically what my profile is, and that's basically what Google Plus is. I don't want to show you the homepage because somebody might post something that I don't find appeasing. So we'll just leave it on my page for now, and we'll go over to the Circles page in a couple seconds here. But basically, it's pretty straightforward. There's no ads on it. There's no birthday stuff on it. There's no other stuff, plugins, programs, games, or anything like that. I would expect that that's going to be coming down the road. So you're not out of the proverbial woods just yet for something like this. But anyway, it's pretty straightforward. You can edit your profile. You check out my About page. There's my About page. I put it in detail so people know who I am, what I do, and how I live my life, and go from there. Now, you got your Circles page. Let's go over to the Circles page. As you can see, this is a very straightforward type situation. You've got circles down here, and you got people in circles. You got the people that are on the network or following you or that are around. You want to find people. You basically will take a name. Like, for instance, we'll take Chris Perlow, although he's already in one of my circles. I'll just take him. As you can see, I can just drag, and I can turn around and I can drop him into any of my circles. I want to drop multiple names in the circles. I just have to highlight and grab a whole bunch of names, and then bring them all over. As you can see, it kind of paper clipped them together, and now I can put them into any circle if I wanted to. I take people out of the circles that same way, and then I can create circles. I can create a new circle here. Watch this. I'll take Jim Lauterbach from revision 3, and we'll drop him into a new circle, and we'll create that circle, and we'll call it Jim. And we'll create a circle with one person. So now I've created a new circle called Jim, and we'll bring it down here so you can see it a little bit better. So Jim has his own circle, and let's say I don't want this circle anymore. So I basically right-click on here, and I can say, okay, I want you to delete the circle. And it says, we'll go back here because now I need to see the full page. It says, if you delete it, it's not going to come back. People will not be connected with you, so on and so forth. So I'm going to say delete the circle, and it's going to go through this little cool animation where it's going to take Jim, and it's going to roll him away. Now, of course, like I said, it's not about creating circles. I just wanted to show you that in the basics. It's about organization. And if you've got the organization skills, then you can make circles all day, every day, so on and so forth. So here's how I do my circles. And first of all, I'm going to bring this up a little bit so you can see all the circles. These are all my circles. And some of them are in jest and some of them are for real. Like, for instance, I have a circle for everybody that lives in Madison, Wisconsin. That's this circle right here. I have Robert Scoble only circle, which just happens to have Robert Scoble in the circle. It's just a little joke and stuff like that. I have some other circles here, but basically I want to keep it as simple as possible. So you get like friends, following, family, acquaintances. There's 4 circles you start with. I took out the 2 of the circles. I only kept 2 circles, friends and following. Now this is how my circles work. If I know you, then you go into friends. If I don't know you and you're following me, you go into following. So you're either in one or the other. You're never in both in this case. The first 2 circles, one or the other. That's it. So my friends are in my friend circle, my following's in my following circle, and eventually that's going to get all mixed up and muddled up, and I'm going to have to move people back and forth, keep an eye on it. But it's basically 2 circles to keep my eye on, which isn't too bad. And if anything, I can just take everybody out of the circle, start over again, and bring them back in, so I know who's following and who's friends. Basically, I think everybody that's in friends is also in following. But right now I have 138 people in friends area and about 1,500 people in the following area. Now, I've created some other circles. Like I said, podcaster circle right there, my Madison only circle, a group called the OTT, which is some hangouts that we're going to be doing in the future, just a silly little circle I created called Life, and then a circle called Me, which is basically a private account, so I can look back and kind of do a little bit of cheating and looking around, and stuff like that. So you can create your circles from here. Now, here's where it's going to get fun. You have your 2 main circles. They're either in friends or they're in following. These are the circles that you keep local. You keep limited. You have like maybe 10, 15, 20 people in. That's it. Like, for instance, the Madison circle, I got 22 people in there. Anybody from the Madison area, or I know from the Madison area, like, for instance, Abraham. Abraham now lives in Seattle, but he was in Madison. I met him in Madison with a group called Web 608. So I know him from Madison, so therefore he's in the Madison circle. And then, of course, the group of podcasters, people I know that create content like myself, like, for instance, Todd Cochran, Andy McCaskey, Andrew Edwards, so on and so forth. There's Rob Greenlee right there, Tom Wiles, or Trucker Tom, and so on and so forth. So I've got that group. Now, like I said, on Sundays, I have this show called the OTT, and I want to start doing this hangout. So I'm going to put people in this special circle So when I go to hang out, they're the only ones that can see the fact that we're doing a hangout. It's not going to go to my friends or my following group. It's just going to go to the OTT group. And I got about 7 people in there right now. So when I do updates, if I say we're going to be talking about this week, it's only going to go to that circle. And of course, the other circles, they're just, like I said, they're mostly jokes. So I don't really do too much with them. So it's just basically these 5 circles right here that I use a lot to get information out. If you're in if I post, I mostly post to the following group. But once again, if it's a Madison only post, like let's say local Madison podcaster wins an award for something, I'll post it into the Madison group rather than the following group. And the best part about this is keeping it as simple as possible. Like I said, everybody goes into following. I have my friends, I have my podcasters, I have my Madison, I have my OTT. That way, if Google decides, oh, we need to change up the circle system a little bit and maybe do tiered circles or anything like that, I don't lose. I can easily recreate what I got here. And I think that's what you need to do too, because let's face it, we all try to do organization. Some of us succeed in organization, but the reality is that most of us don't. We still have our documents in a mess. We don't have filing cabinets. Our mail's thrown across the counter or something like that. It's just not something that we do for the most of us. So keeping a circle system going would be like keeping my bedroom clean or organized, keeping my bills in a nice handy date chart thing when I have to pay them and stuff like that. So organization, it's a learned thing. You can learn it. It's pretty easy. You just have to stick with the plan. Work the plan, or plan the work the plan. That's the key right there. And that's the thing with these circles. You plan your circles, you work your circles. And that's how you keep it simple. Circle it simple, silly. That's my plan for you. Make your plan to make your circles as easy as possible, as simple as possible. That way you don't get confused what's where and why's how. Got a question for me? Simply ask it. @Geekazine is my Twitter handle. You can find me over on Plus. Just look for Jeffrey Powers. You'll see my bright, shining face. And then, of course, geekazine@gmail.com. If you would like to call, I got phone number too. It's 608-205-4378. Hopefully this helps out in your quest for making the better circles. If you have any questions, let me know. And then we will see you next time on Geekazine on, I guess, YouTube. So take care.